Hello, everybody. Welcome to Various Fields. My name is Hazen Fields II.
I'm Trey.
And I'm Lex.
And we are so glad to be with you once again. We have been studying the state of consciousness.
Studying is a strong word.
Well, all right. Well, we've been talking about the state of consciousness.
Maybe thinking about it at best. An inkling, if you will.
And if you were here with us on the last episode of Various Fields, we talked about sleep. Sleep in and of itself. Mm-hmm. But what was it Shakespeare that said something on the line of
to
sleep,
dream or not to dream?
Well, I thought it was sleep. It is to dream. I believe he said something like that.
Shakespeare said a lot of things.
Yeah, he did. A lot of Shakespeare people are going, "Oh my God, he's."
That feels like a quote from not Much Ado About Nothing, Midnight Summer's Dream, right?
Oh my God, I don't know. You see now, a lot of these people that know the Bard's words are looking at, just leave it alone. But in any case, this particular episode, we're going to talk specifically about dreams.
It's a dream transition.
Was it?
So yeah,
I thought that was more of a backstory. That's more of a backstory.
Well, how do you fade in a dream sequence?
So we are going to talk about
Morpheus, how do you fade into dream?
But we are going to talk about dreams.
Okay,
I
got confused.
Okay, no. I thought we was going to just make it happen.
Oh, okay.
But in any case, dreaming I find is to be just amazing as sleep. Mm-hmm. It's imagine that you're in your bed. And without a director or a writer or a script, a whole movie appears in your mind.
It was Hamlet.
Hamlet.
What's the exact line?
A famous line from William Shakespeare's play Hamlet. It was, let me see how I'm going to write. Where is it from? Hang on. I want to get to a good point to it. Contemplation. I have to find out. To die, to sleep, to dream, to sleep, perchance to dream.
There. Maybe that was it.
There is a rub for the sleep of death. What dreams may come.
So
right. Yeah.
So Shakespeare had a lot to talk about.
Yeah, he had a lot to talk about.
Dreams. But I'm sorry, we didn't mean to. Sometimes we get involved with our own thing here.
You got me thinking about what I'm reading.
We forget that we're here with a lot of our friends.
Hi, friends.
Hello, friends. So we're going back to the concept of dreams. So dreaming is like a movie in your mind to me that's being offered to you from who knows where. And there's so many people, and it's one of those areas that doctors and scientists still have not absolutely landed on, which I think is beautiful, because for us to know everything about ourselves kind of puts us in a strange position of being godlike, I think, in my mind. But it's good to have some, like, I like mysteries a little bit.
Right. All I can think of is, what's the movie? Inception? You ever seen the movie Inception all the way through?
Inception. I think I have. Is that the...
It's with, is it Leonardo DiCaprio?
Is it with buildings all folded on top of each other? Yeah, well, go ahead. I
mean, it's just they do a fun job of having a version of a fantasy section, fantasy genre, where I believe everyone they're essentially going on like a mind heist. But the idea is that they're using their state of consciousness / dreams to infiltrate people's dreams and take information that was in that person's head out of it, and while operating there. And there's just a lot of stuff that plays with the idea of how consciousness works, dream states in that movie. And that movie already had a lot of good ratings, but if you haven't seen it already, watch it. But I think it's interesting because I used to, when I was younger, try to play with the whole idea of lucid dreaming, where you try to actively control your dreams to see if you can feel like you're running. And one of the things that they tell you that actually really helps with that is to keep track of your dreams and do like a little dream journal. And the more you're aware of your dream state, the more control you have. And that's why I never got good at lucid dreaming, because I couldn't remember to keep a journal.
Nah, the first person who ever taught me how to lucid dream was Steve from Blue's Clues.
Crazy. Really?
Yes. There was an episode from Blue's Clues. So I'm sure that everyone's familiar with Blue's Clues, right? If you haven't, it's about
everybody.
It's about a little blue pup that solves crimes in the household of the owner Steve.
I think mysteries. I don't think he's particularly solving crime.
Well, there was a crime of a missing package at one point in time. I think it was no one was harmed, but they found it. That's all about it.
Who murdered Pepper? Bro?
I never thought of Blue's Clues as film noir, but go on.
It was definitely. So basically, they were trying to, in the midst of this one of these mysteries, if you will, they were trying to help one of their felt friends who was in this picture, usually behind the big comfy couch, or not big, that's a different franchise entirely, my apologies.
Wow.
They have a big red chair that they resolve all their mysteries in, right? There's a frame of artwork every single day, usually always made of felt, and they go into this felt world by blue skidooing. The blue skidoo allowed them to enter... Blue skidoo is a
It's
dance.
the delivery.
Right.
for me.
The blue skidoo is a dance or a little incantation, if you will, that allows you to jump into two-dimensional realms and make them three-dimensional. So, yeah, in helping this felt person in this felt world, right, this person had an issue with going to sleep because of a monster that haunted them in their dreams, right? Yes, that's what dogs make. Yep, perfect. That's the sound the dogs make. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure people were aware. Yeah, so what happened was they were trying to resolve this sleep issue because the kid was really terrified of ever going to sleep again. And he's like, all right, well, the best thing you could do is, because of the fact you are in fact control of your own dreams, they come from you, is to reimagine the monster as something else. So you have this big obelisk of a creature with fire coming from its head and claws and teeth sharp as razors, right? And it was just like "Rawr" on the kid, and the kid was cowering in fear. And then literally Steve was like, you could literally picture it. The power is yours. Just make it something else. And again, a different franchise. Right? But as the kid dreamt about this horrific monster, right, he turned it into something ridiculous. Again, another franchise, right? And became a birthday cake, right? In which case, the entire scene changed, right? And he was blowing out the candles of what was a horrific cake monster into celebrating his birthday party, right? And again, you're able to do in full control of your dreams, make some, as long as you are semi-aware of them, right? I think there's a point between REM state and just before your body is fully shutting down where you can kind of capture your consciousness and you can actually say, yes, I am here, right? Without jolting yourself fully awake, right? But you can very much say, I know where I am, right? I can be the author of this dream more so than just a player in it, you know? So,
Okay, wait a minute. I am so sorry. You have got to give yourself an applause right there,
For
please.
what?
No, listen.
I'm just letting you know what
I
it is.
have never in my life heard a Blues Clues
that's crazy.
episode explained with such elegance and eloquence. Almost like
it wasn't even an episode. It was like probably like 5 minutes of the entire.
But what I'm
episode.
saying is, I felt like that could have been on the Game of Thrones.
Oh
It
my
was
Yeah,
just-
no, I didn't. No, I won't lie. I agree. I didn't know that Blue's Clues episode was produced by A24. That was intense.
That was great. I was gripped. I was like, what will happen?
Also, I'm pretty sure if that's the case, because I don't remember the episode, but I think that means Blue's Clues gave me my nightmare. Because one of my I've had a couple of recurring nightmares. One nightmare I had when I was a kid, maybe 8, a little bit older or something. I had a nightmare of being chased by a giant birthday cake.
Really?
Yeah, it was really weird. I was being chased. I may have said this on this podcast before. I was being chased by a birthday cake, and they had giant teeth, and it was trying to eat me. And then I was running. I had the choice to be eaten by the birthday cake or jump off a cliff. So I was like, I'm running.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a nightmare as a
Wow.
kid. Which I don't know why I didn't eat the birthday cake. I feel like I could have figured that out, but I was terrified for a while.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
So was it actually you could have been eaten by a man eating cake, or you could have been a man eating cake?
Yeah, it's very philosophical.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
That's
I'm going to see if I can find it exactly so I can.
You know what we can talk about? Has anyone had a reoccurring dream? Because I had a reoccurring dream. One of the scarier ones I've ever had. Because I had a reoccurring dream that lasted a while. It wasn't every night, but it would be multiple nights, usually in a week, and it lasted a couple of weeks. And the weird thing about it is my dream would continue like it was a serialized TV show. So I had no control over this, but I would just go back to sleep and it would just literally pick up where I left off. And it was really just like a man in a trench coat, of course, but the man had no face. It was just kind of like the conception of a man in a trench coat kind of following me from the start of who knows where. But as the dream kept reoccurring, anytime I would wake up, I'd be getting closer to my house. So the dream was following me to my house, which was a very terrifying thing. At some point it just stopped, but it was just one of the things I remember. It lasted maybe 3 weeks of just I would go to sleep and this creature of a man would be following me, and then I'd be trying to escape into the dream, obviously, and then you wake up. But anytime I would have next dream, like exactly where I left off in the dream, would just pick up again. Not fun.
That's
But if you want fun, please like and subscribe to Various Fields, where we can make all your dreams come true. I might be overshooting.
But that's good. But
I
once again-
appreciate the delivery. It was very nice. You tried.
But that being said, please, if you are enjoying what you're hearing, we would like for you to also try to get us to 500 subscribers. You may be watching this and have not subscribed, but we're going to encourage you to actually take action and subscribe. Become a part of the Various Fields family, because when we get to 500 subscribers, we are going to do a live broadcast
And
with
you
music
can make our
and all that kind of stuff. Yes, and you can help us get there. So thank you so much for watching, and everyone that is a subscriber, we love you. Oh my gosh, all the people. Hey, I'm going to give a shout out to my friend Paul Rudnick, who has been helping us move this thing along. And of course, you know, we always have the family. Nels is here, and all of us are here, and we're at, we haven't mentioned Only Way Out Studios in a while. We want to thank, we've been here for, March will make a year for us.
Woo! Almost at March.
And that has been a dream come true.
Yeah.
All right, that being said, things that become annoying in dreams for me,
Nice.
and it doesn't only happen in nightmares, but sometimes in regular dreams, when you have to do something that requires energy, like if you have to fight off someone, I always feel that my body in the dream cannot move with the same intensity as my regular body. I feel almost like in my dream I can't punch, I can't run.
I feel like I have the exact opposite experience.
Really?
When I have dreams, at least I've had a couple of dreams where like I'm doing stuff I know I can't do. I'm doing backflips, doing like ninja stuff. It's crazy.
Really?
Oh, you have some good dreams. Holy cow.
I guess.
That's
I don't know. Makes me jealous of my dream self.
There are a couple of dreams
Need to
that I've
work
had.
out.
Okay, so I have an interesting relationship with dreams because I'm not going to say that I am prophetic in any kind of way. I'm just
many colors.
no. It's more the fact of like there are times when I feel and again, people can argue this for their own personal experience, right? Because I know that there are some people out there that say that they have associations with their dreams that can very much relate to the real world. But I feel as if there are times when my dreams kind of either remind me or spark a similarity, and not just deja vu, but like they might spark
premonition.
But again, I know that there's some type of vagueness or obscurity to what a psychic or those who have premonitions might actually be. So I'm not going to purport myself to ever being one or saying, I just know that there are some familiarities in dreams that might be able to respond or correlate to reality. Like, for example, there was a moment in time when I was waiting for a friend to load into my car, right? Just, I was tired because, had a long week, decided to take a nap. They took some time in the car, and I don't know if it was because of the anxiety of falling asleep behind the wheel or because I had an idea of what might be happening in the future, that my mind kept on running me off the road in the same way over and over again while sleeping in the car.
So in your dream, you fell asleep in your car while like...
Well, yes, the car was parked.
Oh,
all right. Yes, the car was parked. I was waiting for a friend. All right. And to this day, I feel as if it was telling me something about fire. All right. But I know for a fact it was like I was really trying to stop. Like I was trying to stop myself. I saw myself 3 times, in fact, running into the same road, taking the same direction, and hitting the same obstruction, leading to an explosive.
That is annoying.
Yeah. So I would wake up startled, and only like 2 minutes has passed. 2 minutes has passed. 2 minutes has passed. Right. And I think when I woke up on the 3rd time, Mom called me. All right. And she told me that a regular check-in, how you doing? How are you? Right. And I was like, oh, is Dad there? How is he? Right. He's going out. He's trying to pick up something because the oven shut down. Like it's not working anymore. Right. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I wonder if that was related. Not saying that it is. I didn't have a dream about the oven at all. Right. But I just thought that was interesting.
Your dream is giving you video game tutorials. That's cool.
Something like that. Right. Like I know when I was younger, like again, everyone has always argued with me about deja vu or whether it be prophetic. I'm not
arguing with you of deja vu.
It was just no. again,
No,
these are the things. These are things that I've
Hard argument.
these are the things that I've experienced in
Right.
life, because I feel as if in deja vu it is living a moment again, or like you experience something
Right.
familiar that sparks a familiar, like some similarities. I was like, oh my gosh, like I've been here, holy cow, right?
Right.
But there are times when I know for a fact I had a dream about a news anchor giving a weather report, and then I'd wake up the very next morning and I would see that all over again. It could in fact be deja vu, but I know for a fact that I've seen it. You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh yeah, no, this is familiar to me. Like I know when I've talked to a girl in a playground, again, when at a young age, right? About like not using gym equipment that was not allowed to be touched until the teacher said so, and then I would experience that the
I
same
remember you telling me
thing
about this one actually.
about on a field day, right? So like I had familiarities, and I have a very interesting. I don't journal, right? But there are moments in time when I'm like, no, this dream might have meant something, you know. So if you are one of the few lucky or unlucky, however you want to call yourself, that might have these similar experiences, please, I would love to hear more about those in the comment. Help me.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I'm not alone in this.
No, yeah, that's good, because if
just
you
gonna
if
be
you
jealous.
if you know those things, please let it. And also, I don't want you to forget
Uh-oh.
that combination. You were talking about the day. You remember?
Nope.
You said you said tomorrow's a special day.
Oh,
Okay.
Yes.
So don't I don't because you
Okay.
brought that up.
all right.
But I do want to say this. I don't know if there are people out there that can explain dreams. One thing that I find that's very interesting for me is that I always dream of flying. But when I do fly in my dreams, ironically, I never fly much higher than the height of small city trees.
Okay.
So in other words, I fly kind of like, so it's like,
Bad at flying.
I know,
You
is
see
it-
that's what I'm saying?
Didn't you
But-
always
but-
tell me that the sky's the limit?
No, but I know, but maybe I don't know. Maybe that's the sky's the limit. But I thought to myself how bad it would be to be a superhero that has the gift
kinda
of
funny.
flight, but yet is also scared of heights or something. So in other words, so it's like Superman-ish person
Whoa.
that can fly indeed, which would be impressive. But you can kind of reach and touch him a little bit, like like, stop touching my cape. So it's like so what does that mean if I have the gift of flight, the ability to fly, but yet I never fly above, like maybe for the most part I fly like around the tree areas, like
I think that
city
means
trees.
you're hovering. I was like, you get to hover to flight, because there's a difference between hover and flight.
No, I'm flying. I'm
you're
straight up doing the whole
Okay.
thing, the flight, but it's like low, like a low flying.
It might mean that you're never putting on airs.
Ah,
Look at that,
well
see?
done.
There you
Good
go,
job.
there you
Good
go.
job. You deserve a head. You're killing
harmonize.
you're killing it today. But anyway, but go ahead. Don't forget your day.
I won't forget my day, and tomorrow is Martin Luther King Day.
Ah.
And because of that, we want to talk about his dream. I didn't have a transition for this, but I think the one thing that is interesting that I can actually make now, which I have this transition, is something that I figured out is when people tell you to, I guess, be realistic about your dreams. I'm not sure if you've ever gotten that. That's always been upsetting to me. Because I'm like, what is the point of dreaming? And obviously taking to the point of having a dream, following your passions, whatever the case is. So I think the whole point is always to view or have that space for yourself when you're actually sleeping, when you're daydreaming, when you're imagining yourself. Literally, your imagination is your limits. However, everything we more or less interact with as people on our day-to-day and a societal basis was someone's dream. That soundboard was someone's dream. These mics were someone's dreams. These chairs were something, because these are all inventions,
Right.
And getting back to just the idea of, where we are now in society, we are currently living in a version of Martin Luther King's dream, which is when people tell you to be realistic about your dreams, I think it's one of those things to also remember what reality we're living in. And most of it is created by someone or produced dreams. So, I just don't want people to hinder themselves or like try to play their own dreams down when your dreams could actively be telling you something that you should follow.
And also, just a note from a Key and Peele skit. I just
Nice.
want to make sure.
Please save me.
Yeah, I know. I just want to make sure that we're not letting children know that they can fly, right? If you have those dreams, right?
yes.
We're not like, again, there are limitations that of something that you're able to do, but always explore limitations in what you're able to do, I guess, feasibly, right? And always push those limitations if you think they can be boundaries that you can, go past, right? Don't let society tell you no. Don't let your own doubts or fears tell you no, right? If there's something that you want to pursue as a dream, right? You want to be a better artist, or, you want to be better in your various fields, right? However it might be, right? Pursue that. No hesitation, no stop, but don't jump off of any buildings.
Oh my
please.
gosh, God forbid. No, well, yeah, we're definitely not advocating for anything like that. But we are kind of merging from actual conscious state dreams to dreams that kind of are become aspirations, goals, objectives, and things of that nature. And it's interesting in reference to Martin Luther King's dream, because it has an interesting concept, because he was dreaming of a day or a time or a season in which all of us would come together. All races, creeds, and colors from no matter where you were from would come together in harmony. And if we're living in his dream, we are yet in a saying that Martin Luther King is still asleep, but his dream is alive. So are we experiencing now that which is asleep, or that which has become awakened to the reality of the dream that he imagined?
No, that's good.
And I honestly believe that his dream has not yet been realized. I think there are a lot of people in which I can't stand. Not a lot of people I can't stand, but like when they say this, at this point in time, I don't think there's anyone who did not march with Martin Luther King. Everyone that gets on top, well, my father marched with King. Everybody marched. There was no one that didn't march with King or knew someone. It was everybody marched. It was like there was no one watching the march on TV. Everyone was marching. It's like, how'd the whole world march with King?
My guy MLK. Everyone does. Yeah, everyone says that.
But indeed, and when we think about his birthday, indeed, there were people who were not only in opposition, but violent opposition to that which he strove for. So it's a somber thing to me for us to see where we are in society now. And I don't know how much further we moved on.
As you talk about this, please like and subscribe, but also comment your dreams. Anything from what you think is your craziest dreams to something that you feel is an aspiration. So I do think there's a lot of importance in dreaming, both in terms of breaking it down, what it means, the meaning, and then also the delineation of the passions and motivations versus, you going to sleep and you just had a dream. And sometimes those things absolutely coincide.
Indeed.
I'm not sure if you've ever actually had a dream, or if had a dream of you being maybe at work, having a dream while you're at school. But the dream is just, I've had this plenty of times where it's almost upsetting. I've had a dream of being at school, just doing tests, paperwork, all that kind of stuff, waking up and then having to go to school, which I'm like, I just spent hours of my resting being at school.
I think that's literally your body just saying, hey, you remember this time when you were a little bit anxious? I think your mind is just like, oh, I've been trained to do this on a regular basis.
Right.
But certain things do coincide, and I think just breaking it down, something I've also realized, if I go to sleep anxious or with actually something on my mind, this is something that has been reoccurring, which also annoying because I hate bugs, I will dream of like bugs or sometimes swarms.
That's interesting. So just to
I'm
instill
anxious.
anxiety in you.
Yeah, it's just like if I go to bed anxious or something like that, my brain, and that's one of the more, and so I actually can tell how anxious I am if that happens, or if bugs relate, and I'm like, all right, I need to go to bed calmly, and it actually won't happen. But that's one of the more recurring things, where it's like every time I go to bed in some kind of like uncomfortable state, is somehow bug related.
Well, interesting. You talk about bugs, things that I'm definitely, I'm going to say, afraid of. I'll be honest with you. Rodents, or things that I associate with rodents. Sometimes there are marsupials that I associate with rodents, but anything that's rat-like, even kangaroos.
You know what kangaroos?
Kangaroos are deers.
We've talked about this.
Kangaroos are deers with arms.
No.
You're thinking about You're thinking about Sylvester's anxiety about fighting mice that are bigger than him.
No. See, the Lexington was having a little trauma there because I named him Kangaroo. Both of these, when guys were little, they were always very active. So he's been called Rabbit, and him Kangaroo.
He's tall.
But I would sometimes call him Kang because he just had a, yo, what's up, Kang? You know,
Kang the Conqueror.
Kang. Yeah, no, when you got older, I thought I thought it was pretty cool.
Gangster,
But anyway,
everybody.
but anyway, but the thing is that we've talked about Willard and where my fears come from, but I have on more than one occasion had a nightmare where I would open up the door of my vehicle and it would be a family of skunks sitting in my driver's side car. I would open up the door to go into my car, and there's skunks, and then they would like leap at my face. All of my rodent dreams
All at once. Wow.
Oh no! Well, not the whole family.
Coordinated assault.
I think it was a father. The father skunk.
Were any of them French?
No, not Pepe Le Pew. I think it was a father skunk because I think he might have had a fedora and tie.
It's gotta be
I'm only kidding.
Italian.
No. But rodent dreams I hate because rats and the possum. I'm sorry. The PETA people that love these, forgive me, but I can't stand possums.
How do you feel about squirrels?
I don't like squirrels either.
What?
They're tree rats.
That's funny.
I'm sorry.
I think that the dreams that I have that get me the most, I don't think I have an innate fear in a lot of different things, but I have a genuine respect for anything underneath the ocean, so like I can look at a shark and be perfectly fine, but understanding that if I'm swimming with a shark, I won't stand a chance. I will gladly say that is the closest thing I have to an actual fear.
Punch it in the nose.
All right, I'm not Batman, so I'm not even gonna try.
Punch the shark.
Apparently, that's
I'm not gonna
people
try
keep saying like, "Hey, if you're under the by a shark, you got to punch in the nose." I'm like, who figured that information?
Like when it comes down to like, okay, all the things that could possibly eat you in the world, like bears, you don't step to, you don't fight jaguars, you don't try to go toe to toe with a lion, right? I'm not afraid of these things so much as that there's a living respect and urgency to get away from their territory. All right, if you are going to be chased by one of these land animals, great. You might at least give it your all and then be eaten. That's still not fear, that's survivability, right? I am more respectfully cautious in water because I know for a fact I do not stand a chance, all right? So if there's ever a dream that I have about being submerged or being quite literally beyond my depths, right? I would look at there was one I had recently. There was I was swimming in the water. I got swept up in a wave, and I was like, not so much leagues, but feet under where I was expecting to be. I looked down and I saw shadows of tendrils and moving this, that, and the thirds underwater. I was like, I need to get the heck out of here because it's a lot. The water is a lot deeper than you think it is.
Indeed, yes, indeed.
Oh, the ocean's a lot deeper than you think it is. It's called thalassophobia. I'm just letting you know.
What is that called?
It's a fear of things underwater in the depths of water. So it's like I am. If I can't see it, if I can't swim away from it, if it's a shadow that brushes up underneath your ankle, I will gladly avert it.
Would you say that you're finished?
I guess I'm finished now. Yeah, thank you for that wonderful point.
I wasn't coming up.
No. We got 2 minutes. We're actually finished.
I'm just letting you know.
Let's go around real quick. Let's give our last little statements about sleep and dreams and the ending of our consciousness state episodes. Go ahead.
Don't dream it, be it.
Ooh, you got one?
Don't be it, dream it, but like Confucius.
Wow.
You reverse it, it sounds
Yes, it sounded reverse or anything. Oh, okay. Well, listen.
Thank you, Yoda. I
We
appreciate
here
you.
at Various Fields, we want you to dream the best dreams and sleep the best sleep. We want you to dream and achieve those things that you aspire in all your objectives. We are hoping that you're watching this and you feel inspired to do more and take your dreams to the highest heights, the deepest depths, so that we can make this society move forward and actually push us towards the dream being realized that was dreamt by Martin Luther King. We're not there yet, America, but we have the potential to do that, and I hope that we do that. And so from Various Fields and my two sons, Trey and Lex, you guys, I love you both.
I am the one named after him, by the way.
I love you both.
Life is but a dream.
We can end. Dream. Good night, everybody. That is
See you later.
All right. See you. Ba-da-da-da.